Well, welcome, Martin, to the UKBC, where budgies come first. We like to class this as the interview. I feel quite privileged to be able to interview yourself because I've followed you for a very long time, actually, on Facebook, longer than some of the other people that I've interviewed and going to interview. So it's a great privilege. Um, so I mean, I've learned a little bit about you from Mike Ball. I didn't realise you were part of a three-way partnership. Um, so can you just sort of introduce yourself and tell us about the partnership first?
Yeah. So yeah, I am Maarten Heylen, 42 years old, living in Belgium. I'm breeding budgies for nearly 25 years now. I have been since the beginning in a partnership with my father, Eric. And since 2013, there was Mario Waarzegers that joined the partnership. And so since then, it means nearly 10 years now, we are the HHW1 partnership. And that's, yeah, since then.
Ah, that's good. And I'm led to believe that you run 3 bird rooms, but you only ever use 2 at a time, and you have
Correct.
1 left fallow.
Yeah, that's what we do. So only two bird rooms are breeding at the same time. So actually, our stud of birds, it's moving around. So it's not that like most partnerships, one is breeding in his place and the other one is breeding in his place, and they just show together. That's not what we do. We have one stud of birds, and they are moved around between the bird rooms, which gives us and also always the opportunity to clean the bird room very well, to disinfect, and to give the bird room a rest. Because also when you have many birds in the bird room, there's a kind of pressure in the bird room, and that can lead to French mold or to any diseases or even red mites or all those things. So that gives us always the opportunity to clean and to give the bird room a rest, and also the breeder a rest a little bit.
Yes, yeah, that's just as important, I think. And I've found that this year or last couple of years with the lockdown and everything, I've got so involved in like the bird room and the birds, and you just need a break yourself in the end, don't you? So it's actually that, I mean, it's really interesting that you've got sort of one set of birds, and obviously has this come from 2 studs, 3 studs mixed together?
No. So yeah, as I said, my father and we started breeding together 25 years ago. So at that moment in time, we were only breeding at his place. So I didn't have home. I was still living at home. So we were breeding together. Yeah. After when I built my house, I did foresee a place in the basement to breed birds. So that has happened later on. But Mario already was getting birds from us before he came into the partnership. So it was more or less also our line of birds that he was breeding with, mixed with a few other breeders, but not many. So it was really based on our birds. So we brought those birds in the partnership when he came in 2013. But it has always been like one stud of birds.
Right. And do you sort of divvy up the responsibilities of sort of pairing up, or do you just come together as a group to decide how you're going to move forward?
No, yeah, that's a bit the agreement. I decide about the pairs and actually look what we are going to pair up together. But that doesn't mean that my father and Mario cannot also pair up birds. It's definitely, they have also their say, and if they like a particular bird, then I let them choose the the pair.
Yeah.
So that's that still happens, but normally it is me that put the birds together, and I look at what kind of features I want to combine, because I think I don't know if some of you already saw my presentation that I give before. So I actually like to pair visually. Yeah? It means I like to combine features. I like to combine different feather types, and I'm not that much into line breeding. I think everybody knows that from me.
Right, that's interesting. So yeah, so you'd rather pair unrelated birds, but visually what you want together.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And also that for me, it increased fertility. You get less problems that to pair or to make too close pairings, according to me.
Yeah.
It will only bring you problems.
Yeah, I think you certainly set problems, don't you? You reinforce and double up and things. Yeah, I'm just into the sort of stage now where I've got good enough birds to consider it, but it's whether I'm going to. I may continue just doing what I'm doing, but
of course it's totally different when you start in the hobby. Of course, that's it means when you're a beginner, you need to take advantage about the knowledge of the people where you buy birds, and then you need to keep those birds together and not go everywhere and buy a bird there and a bird there, because then actually what the breeder that you bought from, the work is gone. So you really need to take advantage of the knowledge of the breeder where you buy your first birds, and then later on, when you already have a better a stud wider, that with a wider base, then of course you can start bringing in other features. But as a beginner, of course, it makes sense to keep birds together from a certain line.
yeah. So, I mean, we'll see some pictures of your birds hopefully in a little while. But so, what's your sort of favourite looking bird? What does a pleasing bird to you look like within in your head?
Yeah, but birds are evolving. In the 25 years that I'm in the hobby, they evolved. So and actually they are involved in all different ways. It means there was a certain period that it couldn't be big and buffy enough. Now we are going back a little bit in a more nicely shaped bird with a good position on the perch. But of course, what we want actually, or what we like, is a bird with a long head feather, a good blow, let's say long feather on top, and a nice carrot shape, and let's say shorter feather on the body.
Yeah.
That of course combined with a nice deep mask and good spots. That brings for me the ideal bird.
Yeah. Very sort of sort of mainstream ideal bird, isn't it? You know, we want all the feather on the head and nothing in the body as such, or not too extreme in the body.
Correct.
Yeah. So I mean, I haven't seen a lot of results from shows your way, but where are you winning best in show regularly?
But we don't have many shows anyway in Belgium. So what do we have in Belgium is one. We have two regions now, so we have one baby show and one big show, so the national. That's all what we have in a year at this moment in Belgium. Besides that, I have participated in the Dutch show in Haper, and I have been also in Karlsruhe in the show in the Europa show in Karlsruhe.
Right. And how did you do in those shows?
So I've won best in show in Belgium twice so far. I've won one times best in show in the Netherlands, and I have got a few. They call it in Germany, Hauptgruppensieger. Or the CC winners in Germany. we won on the European show.
Oh wow. Yeah, so your birds are certainly holding their own, which is good.
Yeah, but we're not that much into showing, to be honest. I am more the breeder than the shower, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I get more pleasure out of combining birds and finding the right pairings and than actually showing birds, because that's for me always like a struggle to get them ready to prepare them for the show. I have a busy job, so it's not always easy to find time to do that properly.
No, no. And there's no shortcuts to this type of the show birds we're breeding today. There's no shortcut to show preparation, is there? It's very time consuming.
If you want to get them on the show as it should be, then of course you need to start in time and you need to really spend time preparing them. That's otherwise, yeah, you will see it in the results.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about feeding, because I mean, everybody wants to know what the next wonder product is or the wonder food. So can you just talk us through, your feeding? And I'm assuming you do the same whichever bird room you're in. You do the same feeding.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can just take us through your seed and bits and pieces.
Yeah, so we have our own seed mixture. Which is the HHW1 seed mixture, which is mostly the two main ingredients are plain canary and Japanese millet. So if you have those two combined, it's 75% of our seed mixture.
Right.
So that's the basis. Of course, our birds do get soft food on a daily basis when they are breeding, and then the soft food is actually a combination of sprouted seed, seven different kind of vegetables which we use. I think everybody knows them: red beet, carrots, broccoli, celery, all those kind of things that you put in. Besides that, we do have like our own herb mixture that's coming from Terpica. I put that together, and it's actually a mixture of 11 different herbs, which is dried and which I put into my soft food. Then, what's also one of the ingredients is a curcuma. It's turmeric. Turmeric, I think, that's something that we put in. We have put in some vitamin mixtures, but at the moment we even don't do that anymore. So I have been using for several years the Breed Max. I think many people knows that Breed Max, but so far we are not adding anything anymore in the soft food. The egg food that we are using is a mixture of different brands, all depending on how wet it is. So if we have it's a little bit too moist, then we put in some Quico. It's really dry egg food, then we add some of that. For the other ones, we use mostly the Orlix cold pate, which is a moist egg food, and we use the ones that actually for European birds. Why? Because there is a little more protein in there, and they put some small shrimps and cameras in. So that's something that we use. And something that is definitely in our soft food on a daily basis is sweet corn. So a can of sweet corn is the first thing that the birds go and pick out of the soft food. So then you have the seed and the soft food, and of course I have a grit mixture that I actually prepare myself, which is a combination of different mineral products that we buy. I don't know exactly the word in English, but like stomach stones, mixture of stones and shell, and
Yeah.
and
And
cooperative.
is the grit the only source of calcium?
Yeah.
Right.
Besides that, no, it's not true. I do have a source of calcium in the water once a week.
Yeah.
I use a product from the UK. I use different products from the UK, to be honest, in the drinking water, which is the products from Avifarm.
Yeah.
Aviform, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So it is the calcium product, um, the gold, the mixture that with all the different vitamins which we put on a regular basis in our drinking water. And the third one is the Fitura 12. It's kind of a probiotic that we put in there. So there are 3 products from the UK that we use in our drinking water, and it works well for me.
Yeah. And you've never had any problems putting stuff in the water? No dehydrated birds or anything?
No.
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 That's interesting. Yeah, I've come away from water-based products. Mine get just plain water all the time, and I feed what I want to feed, vitamins and stuff. So
Yeah, I do the opposite. Previously, I put it in the food, but you never know what they get in. They have to drink. So and yeah, I feel more comfortable putting in the drinking water, but that's everybody decides that for his own.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. I mean, my pots of soft food are there's never anything left in cage or aviary. So, hopefully, but yeah. Okay. So what about things like treatments and things? Do you do regular treatments of not necessarily antibiotics? I'm sure you're not a big user of antibiotics, but things like trichomoniasis
Yeah.
and
The Tricho Plus, we are using that 2 times a year. And then besides that, against the red mites, we use Exalt. Exalt is the best product that you can find on the market for red mites. You do it every 2 or 3 months. You give it 1 day, and then exactly 7 days later, you give it another day. And since then, I don't have any red mites anymore.
Yeah. And is that going in the water?
That goes in the water too. Yeah.
I think, is that the one Mike Ball is now using?
Yeah. I told him that. So
yeah. You're listening to this, Mike? Yeah. No, there's been a lot of talk about that with Kevin Eatwell, which is our avian vet, and I know Mike's taken on board and using it as well. So it's not the cheapest of products, but
no, definitely not. But better if you lose one bird,
that's it.
Then it's paid, eh?
Yeah. No, that's it. It's paid for itself, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I mean, I alluded to it there, but you don't reach for antibiotics unless it's absolutely necessary.
No, definitely. I'm the only thing I still do is the first 7 days when the chicks hatched. There is a kind of it's a Dutch product that I use. It's Super Ornithose mix, and I give that in the first 7 days, and it's against bacteria and so on, and it keeps sometimes you have the chicks that they don't want to grow well, or they don't have a nice color, and actually with that you don't have that problem anymore. So that's still something that we're doing. So first 7 days of the chick, until the youngest chick is 7 days, and then I stop with it. And
what was that called?
Super Ornithose mix.
Oh, right. I've never heard of that.
It's a Dutch product. Yeah, you can only get it in the Netherlands.
Yeah. And is that does that again go in the water or the food?
No, again it goes in the water.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's interesting, because I must admit one of my biggest problems has been chick health. It's much better now, but I had to get Kevin Eatwell involved about 4 years ago, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So okay. So is there any special treatments you give your fallow bird room, your empty bird room? Is there anything special you do that, or is it just a deep clean and then left for the?
That's all. Yeah, just
Yeah.
deep clean, and we don't do more than that actually. No, and leave it yeah, without birds for a few months.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah, just to break that cycle of build up of bacteria and bugs, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do we get to? Oh yeah, I was actually going to go back to the birds themselves actually, and just sort of ask where your initial stock sort of came from, and who you go to now for outcrosses, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, 25 years ago, we started with buying some birds at the local market, as everyone does, I think.
Yeah.
But after that, yeah, I got interested and yeah, asking around, also joining the club, the Belgian Bajarica Club, and then I met William Dirks and Bert Samples, and at that time we got some birds from them, and then it started to go quicker and quicker. We bought 2 different studs, which we included in our birds, and I think it was 2001 or 2003 we went for the first time to Daniel Little. So it's already nearly 20 years that I know him, and yeah, we have been working with his birds for some time now already, and yeah. So what are we doing now? I'm only, at this time we are exchanging birds with some friends. Not really bringing in a lot of different birds anymore now. It's more like in-out crosses that we bring in. So if there are a lot of friends that has also some birds from us, so if they have combined with their birds, they have a nice bird, and we do another swap, and like that we bring in birds. But to be honest, not many new birds are coming in anymore right now.
Yeah. And do you prefer to bring in cock birds or hens, or doesn't matter?
Most 90% are cock birds.
Yeah.
Moving hens, I always think it's not a good idea. And if you move them, you move them before they have bred, because if you move them after they bred, there is a small chance of success, according to me.
Yeah. I learned about 10 years ago, just look for cock birds. Breed your own hens, look for cock birds, far easier. Yeah,
and that's also in my pairing something that I look at. It is once the presentation from Harry Hockaday, and it always kept in my mind pairing cock to cock, and that's what we actually do. It's actually, you have to think about it, and you pair a certain cock bird to a hen, but actually you're pairing that to the father of that hen, and that's the idea. That's such a smart idea. I never forgot that, and I always I still doing that.
Yeah. So that is. And are you still looking for the right features in that hen, or do you just treat it as she could be carrying his features? So she might not have, let's say, directional feather, but if the cockbird did, she's carrying it.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes if I really believe that it's the hen is genetically that strong, I do use a smaller hen that you would think, why don't you bring that one to the pet shop? But I still believe there in the genetics, and I still believe that she will give back the quality that you have put in the past.
Interesting. Yeah, I remember watching the Harry Hockaday presentation, and it just about blew my mind. I'd never looked at it that way. I probably still don't, to be honest, but it's something that it's worth a try, isn't it? Worth a couple of cages.
Of course, you prefer the hen to be visually okay. To be honest, I don't like those big buffy hens anymore right now to breed because most of the time it doesn't give you a good result. You can still try, of course, but most of the time the result is not what you expect. So I prefer to breed with our lesser sister but put a good cockbird to her. So yeah, that's the way that it works best for me.
Yeah. I've had to do a bit of fostering this year because the buffier hens just wouldn't feed. So yeah, definitely a something to look at going forwards. So are you happy to use, what we would class as faulty birds, so flecked or missing tails? Do you blend those in but keep records, or how do you do that?
Yeah, definitely birds without tails or missing flights or something. That is rare that I use them. Definitely, if a bird has lumps, I will not use it for breeding. If he misses the tail and it's a super bird, I still might breed with him. But I will definitely pair it with a hen that has two strong tail feathers and not a background of birds with missing feathers or missing tails anymore.
Yeah.
So and I can say that okay, everybody breeds sometimes birds without a tail or with missing flights or something. But if you see the average of what we breed, then it's still okay. Most of our birds are nice, complete, and that's what I prefer.
What I meant to ask earlier, actually, what sort of size is your breeding team? How many birds or how many cages do you run? That sort of thing.
So at my father's place, we have 36 breeding cages. At Mario's place, we have 36 breeding cages, and at my place, we have 54 breeding cages. So if we breed at my place and at my father's or Mario's, it is 90 pairs up.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the maximum. What we mostly do is we are mostly not breeding at the same time. So one breeding room is starting up a little bit earlier and stopping a little bit earlier, and one is starting a bit later and then breeding a bit longer. So it's not that we start with 90 breeding cages at the same moment.
Yeah, I suppose you've got to take the age of your breeding birds into consideration. It's no good trying to start them too early, is it? Too young.
No, correct.
No,
I like hens to be at least 10 months old before to start breeding with them.
Yeah, apart from them big buffy ones, get them down as soon as you can.
If they get in condition, you might only have one shot, of course. Then you better try.
Yeah, when they haven't put all that excess weight on. So yeah,
correct.
Okay, and I suppose one of the things that has completely baffled me in this country is the long tail, long flight syndrome that we're in. And I'll hand on heart, I've bred birds with longer tails, longer flights, but they seem to be balanced. And I've actually had one last year that was almost, he grew his tail in his flights and then his body grew into those flights. So where do you draw the line on long tails, or do you like to think of a bird as balanced if it looks balanced?
It's all about balance. Why would we like a bird that's so short with a head like that? It needs to be balanced.
Yeah.
But I to be really honest, I do see very less that are birds that are real typical long tails, because a real long tail, he doesn't have blow. He has a flat head. His body is that he has a short body and then a long tail. Really typical long tails you nearly don't see anymore. It's always like, yeah, perhaps a hybrid bird, that, but as long as it's balanced and it doesn't exceed the tail, yeah, too much.
Proportions. Yeah,
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 then for me, I'm happy. I'm happy with it.
yeah. It's so difficult because I look at some of the youngsters, and you think, "Oh, is that a long tail?" And then 12 months later, I'm thinking, well, actually, it's not.
That's a
They've sort
nice
of,
bird, huh?
yes,
Yeah,
they've sort of grown into that tail, So, but it really does. I don't, obviously, all birds now or these days are carrying that as a feature, hidden or whatever.
but we would never have been at this level, or this, we would never had this quality in the top birds if in the 70s and 60s they would not never have used the long tails.
No, that's right. That's right. Would have stuck with that short feather and wouldn't have gone any further, would it?
And people that say that they don't have any long tail blood in their stud, I think for me, they are not telling the truth.
No, no, no. And do you suffer from French molt much, or have you managed to eliminate it by doing your bird room rotation?
With the rotation, we managed to get it down. We always breed some, and mostly it is at the end of the season when again the pressure on the breeding room becomes higher and higher, because you have more birds in, because you breed some chicks, and you get more dust, and it's all combined. Birds getting tired, all this kind of things, and we every year we breed a few, but so far, I have to touch wood, it's not bad. It's only a handful, and then most of them they still recover even after they got it.
And you're happy to use recovered French molters, or
why not? It's like a flu. If you recovered from COVID, it's the same. You build up some antigens there. Huh?
Yeah. And I think if with doing what you do, deep cleans, moving around, I think that helps it as well. I think what a lot of people have done in the past is breed with French molters in the same environment, having just thought, oh, I'll breed through it, it will be fine. But there's no break in that bird room. So, yeah. Okay.
There is actually a difference between two times. You have parrot beak and feather disease, and you have the French molt. This is the circovirus, and the other one is the polyomavirus. There is a difference, of course. If you see that you're getting chicks that loses all body feathers, then it might be PBFD, and then for me it's time. Yeah, you have to take immediate action and pull your pairs out, because that's for me more, and that's really contagious, and it will spread over the whole shed. But the polyoma, you can still, according to me, you can still keep it under control.
Yeah. I think Kevin has touched on that on one of his courses. So yeah. Okay.
Kevin may correct me if I'm wrong.
No. I think you're right. Yeah. Okay. So, what sort of features are you working on? Do you tend to, one year will be, let's say, directional feather or blow, or do you?
No,
balance.
I think we have most of the features we do have in our shed there. When you're having 400 birds, and then you have everything. I think all the bits and pieces to put together. What we have been doing the last let's say 7-8 years is trying to work on the special varieties also. So I think that we were on a certain level with our normal birds that was good enough to start thinking about working on the varieties. And so we started in the beginning with recessive bites. Then we started with Texas clear bodies, and now we have some melanistic spangles and some easily clear bodies. So we are working on those different colors too. And to be honest, with success, I think we already improved those colors a lot and breed them nearly as good as normals.
Yeah, oh, that's good going. I mean, I think Daniel's done much the same as well, hasn't he? He's now bringing in, and improving the rarer varieties. So
yeah,
that's
but
good.
still, you're working on the overall bird in balanced bird. That you still try to achieve that with the normal colors too, of course.
Yeah. And have you ever used artificial insemination?
But it's more and more spread, I think, everywhere. It's not rocket science. Everybody or a lot of people know how to do it. I personally, I don't have time during to do that. While my birds are not always at my place. If you have to go to my father and to Mario every day to do it, I simply don't have time to do that. However, I think, as I said, it's not rocket science. I know how to do it, but to say that I do it systematically, I don't do that.
No. I think if your fertility and that is good, and you keep your birds fit and well, I wonder what there is to gain from it. But yeah. Right. Okay. Well, on a bit of a selfish note, then, we'll have a chat about fishing.
Okay.
Because I think we're both going tomorrow.
Yeah, correct. I'm leaving 2:30 a.m. this night with the boat.
Oh, crumbs. So, I mean, not that I've stalked you at all, but on your Facebook page, a lot of the photographs of what we would class as predator fish. So, pike, zander. I don't know. Do you have muskie over there?
No, we don't have.
No. I wasn't sure how far down they came, but so you're sort of more of a predator angler, or do you?
Correct.
All round.
Yeah. Together with my partner Mario, we have our own boat, and we go out for pike and zander fishing most of the time, and perch also, of course.
Yep.
So that's and we do it different ways. You have the pelagic style, which is more the sharp shooting way of fishing with the sonar.
Yeah.
And most people say that's not fishing anymore, because you're looking for the fish on the screen, and then you try to get to it and to catch it. But it gives you that much adrenaline, and it's so fun. That is nice. But we also fish more the traditional way, vertical jigging or diagonal jigging. So that's or even casting. So we do all of them.
Brilliant. Yeah. No, I'm off for carp tomorrow. And tench. So we don't. I mean, in this country, we do have obviously the predators, but we don't have the waters like you do. Vast expanses of big waters.
Well, we have to drive to the Netherlands too. We have a 1.5 2 hour drive before we get there. Anyway, to get to the bigger water, the bigger lakes. But it's worth it. So if you can catch like a pike above 1.20 m, then your day is good.
Yes, because 1.20 m, that must be, what's that? Must be £30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest one was 1.33 m, and he was definitely above 20 kilograms.
Yeah. Brilliant. Oh, well, good luck for tomorrow anyway. So
thank you.
I suppose we better get back to the birds though, hadn't we? So I've sort of lost train of thought now, gone on to the fishing. I should have saved that. But should we have a look at the photographs if I share my screen? And Okay, so yeah, there's a half a dozen pictures or something. So I mean, if you want to tell us a little bit about um,
Yeah,
each bird, or
yeah. There are some double pictures. Yeah, the gray green that won the Belgian national last year. I have put that in a few times.
oh right, okay,
This
yeah,
yeah, this one is a sky blue cock that we bred 2 years ago, which I really liked. Style, the harmony of that bird was really good, and yeah, I put it in because I think that's a bird more or less that we're aiming for. Perhaps a little bit more the directional. He could have that a little bit more, but for the rest, it's really a bird that I
yeah.
like very much.
It's an amazing bird, and we haven't even seen the best ones yet. So you know, but I mean, I just notice on the shoulder of the sky there that you've got the opalescence just coming through. Is that something you work on to eradicate, or
Yeah, you try to look at that, but it's something that comes, of course, also with the feather. If the feather is a little bit more buffy, you get it tends to be that opalescence coming through a little bit faster, also. So, but still, yeah, it's a fault that. But for me, it's not something that I have been focusing on, to be honest.
no? But you wouldn't pair two horribly opalescent birds together.
No, no,
No,
correct. No,
no, that
definitely
yeah,
not. No,
no,
most of the time, it is a medium feathered bird with a buffy feathered bird. So most of the time, the hens are much more, um, yeah, shorter feathered, and they automatically have a uh, better markings too. Huh?
yeah, yeah. And what year was that sky blue?
It's a 19 bird, I think, if
Oh
I
right,
remember
yeah,
right.
yeah. One of many birds, or was it a good round on those chicks?
Yeah. That's to be honest, I think that was a one-off bird of it.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's a shame.
yeah, I definitely would like to have more from that pair, but unfortunately, we couldn't.
Yeah. So this is the grey green we've got a
Yeah,
few pictures of.
correct. Yeah, that's the gray green winning the Belgian national last year. It's a 2020 bird. Um, yeah, that was at that time in perfect condition. The only thing that I would like to improve there is the body feather. If you see a bit
Yeah.
downstairs, it's still a bit too long. It has to be shorter there, that it doesn't yeah, fall apart. Or
Yeah.
how should I explain that? But
Yeah.
nevertheless, the top end of that bird, I think that's what I like. That's what
Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't know whether it's the picture, and I don't mean to criticize your birds at all because they're amazing, but something that crept into my birds is this flecking that's actually in the vein of the feather rather than the feather,
Yeah.
So have you looked into that and seen where it's come from or how to get rid of it?
Yeah, it comes sometimes, but yeah, it uh, definitely you want to try to get rid of it. But as long as it's only in the shaft of the feather, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
okay with it.
Okay,
It would be
clear.
better if it wasn't there, of course. But yeah,
Yeah. And again, you just try not to double up on it within the pairs, I
again,
assume.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
yeah,
I hadn't seen it until, well, first time last year. And yeah, rather annoying, but
yeah.
so again, so was this family or this pair, did they do you proud with numbers or
Yeah, that's the gray green family. I have quite some of them still in the shed. It is for me the big family. It means they produce big birds that sometimes are over the top also.
yeah,
But still, I keep them in because if you get rid of all those birds at the end, you will end up yeah getting the quality down also. So yeah.
Yeah, amazing bird. And a spangle grey.
Spangled Grey, yeah. Also 2020 bird, which actually didn't do that well on the show because he doesn't like being in the show cage.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So I managed to take a good picture of him, but at the end, at the show, he didn't show himself as he had done in the breeding room.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's the type of bird again I like to breed with. He has a nice spangle spots, good spangle markings, nice white feather, good in the shoulder and neck. That's the bird I like to breed with.
Yeah, pretty clean as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever produce double factor spangles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do breed quite a lot. I like the pairing spangle to spangle because then you breed everything. You breed double factors, you breed normal spangles, and you breed normals. So if I pair my spangles, it's many of the times that are single factor spangle to single factor spangle.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Then
automatically you breed the double factors too.
Yeah, yeah. And do you find the double factors breed a better single factor spangle, or is that really a myth?
No, I never know. It is again what you put in. If you put in cinnamon spangles with no spangle spots and no markings, and you double up on that, and you breed a double factor, you won't see it anymore. But if you breed with a double factor, you will not produce you good spangles because he will not produce good markings.
No, because his parents weren't particularly well marked. So yeah.
Yeah, that's again.
That's the grey green.
The grey green again, yeah. With yeah, and again, yeah. I just choose some pictures when.
He's a lovely bird.
Here you can see it again. The body feather is a little bit too long. Downstairs, it needs to be. If you want the perfect parrot shape, it needs to be a bit more tight there.
And has he bred well for you?
No. It's a difficult bird for breeding.
Yeah. The feather gets in the way.
Yeah.
Cinnamon grey green.
Cinnamon grey green, really, that's a bird that do very well for me. And that's a family of cinnamon grey greens. His father was also cinnamon grey green that also produced really good babies. So that's a really strong family, and a short family. It means it they all are short, compact birds.
Yeah.
And again, this year, this guy produced already 6-7 chicks, and some are better than he is, and some are a little bit less, but really good good breeding birds.
Yeah. And what did you pair him to?
First pair was with the cinnamon cinnamon gray pied hen, where I bred a really nice pied a really nice cinnamon gray green pied out of him, and now they did 2 rounds, and now I have paired him up to a cobalt yellow face, cinnamon cobalt yellow face. Yeah.
Ah, you don't mind cinnamon to cinnamon, obviously.
No, not at all. Why would I?
Yeah, I know. I never.
If I have to exclude all everything cinnamon, then I get in trouble with my pairings, I think, because a lot of my hands are cinnamon.
Yeah. No, I started with birds from Roy Aplin, and he's cinnamon man sort of through and through. So I've always had cinnamons, and I think I always will. So
yeah. That was last year's Lutino that won the best Lutino in the Belgian National. At that time, he was only 5.5 months old when I took that picture.
And did he improve with age?
He got even a little bit more extreme, which I didn't want him to be honest.
No.
So he would not perform that well right now on the show because he might be a little bit over the top. But still, yeah, for me, Lutino is my favorite color.
Right. Oh, okay.
And yeah, I'm starting to work a little bit more on that now. I put more and more pairs together. So we all have our favorite colors. If I look at my father, he likes the violets and the recessive pies. When I look at Mario, he is more into the Texas clear bodies.
Yeah.
And I am the Lutino guy. So, and besides that, we all like a good bird, but
well, yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, I bred some dilutes a little while ago. I got my first ever CC with it and everything. But they're nice, but I wouldn't want a shed full of them.
No.
But I didn't mind. They were quality birds. Got me a good swap with a chap, and has moved my birds on. So I'm happy with whatever comes out, really. Right. Yeah. So I think that was the last one of those. And there was just a couple of sort of ones with with friends, I think. So I was just gonna.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's Mario. That's my the third partner, huh?
Yeah.
Mario Varzegas. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. That's the gray green family with that bird that you see there is the grandfather to the show winner.
Right. I mean, it's only one picture, but has he got a lot more heavy directional feather or?
Yeah, that's a breeding bird, of course.
Yeah.
We could never show him; he is too big. But yeah, that's what I mean with the big family, the gray green family.
Yeah, but it's all tools, isn't it? It's tools to build that perfect bird. So
of course, you not want to double up again on that on that type of bird. You pair it more to a hen that's a little bit more in harmony and better shaped, of course.
Yeah, I did wonder whether this was titled "The Magician's Hand." Because that's some amazing budgie balancing tricks there.
Yeah. I actually started that, and I saw some other breeders taking that over for me later on.
Yeah.
But, that was in 2019. You see the sky blue bird that you showed the first picture of. It's the one on the left on the bottom.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. I can say, what did the top one turn out like?
Yeah. That became a really good cobalt cock, but he only lived for a few months.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah. And I even think the one on the left, I sold him. I think it's not a bird that I remember that I kept.
No. And the grey there, I was going to ask about the grey chick nearest your thumb, because that looks like some bird.
Yeah, that unfortunately was a hen. She when I took the picture there, she didn't want to feed herself. And then I brought her to a friend of me, Harry van Genechte. He likes to put some effort in then feeding them with the crop needle. I don't have time to do all that. If they don't want to eat, they end up in the trash bin with me. So but whenever I have some birds that don't want to feed themselves, I bring them to Harry, and Harry take care of them. And most of the time, he succeeds to get them through. Sometimes one of my best pied cocks, Mike got him once for breeding. Also, it was a sky blue pied cock, and it was a baby like that. He never started feeding in the beginning, and then Harry continued feeding him for 3 months, I think, and then at the end he started feeding and he became a super bird.
Wow. Wow.
But of course, yeah.
Yeah, I must admit, I lost the battle with a grey hen today. Been trying to feed her for a good few weeks, but she just, you have to give up. Well, not give up, but you have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I drew the line quite close to the beginning, to be honest.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm lucky. I can work from home on certain days, and you know,
yeah.
but they don't get topped up that often. Only probably twice a day, if that. So
Yeah.
yeah. So, and is that who's breeding?
That's the partnership. The Three Musketeers said it's. Yeah.
Excellent. And is that your room or?
That's my father's breeding room.
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah. So we have our own breeding cages, actually, which are plastic boxes that are used in warehousing.
Yeah, that's right. I got to think. I think I've seen did you do it as part of one of your talks, or did a slideshow?
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I must admit I was impressed with it then, because they must be so easy to wash or just replace.
Yeah, and you don't have any gaps anymore where mites could go. So
yeah.
And I got them in a transparent color, which gives me the opportunity to have a LED on top of them.
Yeah.
And it spreads the light in the breeding cage. Yeah. All the same in one breeding cage. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I must go back and see if I can find that and have a look. Nice grey.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that was an overview of the Paul Richard from Brazil. He makes every year a few books where he puts in breeders of the world, let's say, and
right.
that was the page where we were in last year.
Yeah. Wonderful selection of birds there. Yeah, brilliant. Okay. Right. So I don't know if you know much about UKBC, other than probably what you've sort of heard on the grapevine, but does the hobby in Belgium need to change, or is it ticking along nicely? What's the hobby like over there?
Well, in Belgium, we are struggling also, and definitely now after COVID and with everything what's happening with the seed prices and so on, we see people stepping out the hobby, and it's not going into the right direction. To give you an idea, as a club in Belgium, we had about 200 members as the Belgian Budgerigar Society. And now we are back to 130 at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's going back. It's we are a small country, but still, then
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with the UKBC, what we've done is we've sort of included everybody in the hobby. We don't just cover show birds. We cover pet birds. We cover aviary. It's amazing when I joined Facebook, I just found this array of people that wanted more knowledge. Even somebody put a bird up going, "What sex is my bird?" Or and I found that you then saw a cock bird with scaly face. So you started to educate these people. And when the UKBC asked me to join their ranks, it gave me the opportunity. I mean, my next interview could be a chap. I'm hoping to get over to a chap who's got an aviary. He doesn't want to show his birds, and he won't show his birds. That's fine. But he's got as much knowledge as anybody else on what he's doing. And we're hoping in this digital world we can bring all of those people together in one club, so you not got anything like that going on in Belgium?
No. Previously we had two different clubs in a small country as Belgium, but that that stopped, I think, more or less 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are always people that cannot get on well with each other, and they start then something new. But at the end, it's a bit it's shattering the hobby into different camps, let's say, which we should avoid as much as we can, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've just tried to embrace everybody. We're not forcing ourselves on anyone. So I think we just want to try and grow the hobby rather than just the show birds, which are wonderful, but they're not to everybody's taste.
That's what we did also in Belgium. We also included the color berserkers on the show again. Tried to get new members by.
Well, I think I still found that was a very niche market, if you want, a very niche amount of people, because they were still breeding to a type, whereas the people that I've been involved with, we get spangled pied, we get all sorts of funny colors, and they want to learn, and and a lot of them actually want to do shows as well. So that's something that may come about at some point, is a sort of hobbyists show, where we can bring all these birds together.
Sure. Yeah.
But, I think that's the trouble. I think we put boxes on everything. We put everybody in different groups, don't we? And then I think we lose it then. I think if everybody just has one objective, I think that's where it wants to be, really, just the hobby,
Yeah, people that start with the color berserker and in small numbers, they can end up as being a good exhibition berserker breeder later on. Huh?
That's right. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we have one lady on our team that she had her coloured budgies. She went on to showbirds, but has had lots of bad experiences with the showbirds. So she's gone back to her pet birds, or the smaller birds. But again, we don't want to alienate that person. We want that person to engage with everything the hobby's got. So she does talks and things on Facebook Live. So it really is. It's good.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. I think I've sort of run out of questions now. So
okay. Well, I enjoyed it. It's a good discussion, and yeah. Anyway, good luck with the club. As I said, I don't do politics. I like everybody who like to promote the hobby, that would like to bring positive things in the hobby, and that's that's the most
definitely
important.
Yeah, that's all we're interested in. It's good at the moment. It's good. Well, thank you very much for taking part, and perhaps we'll do something again. Maybe talk more about birds. Maybe do some pairings or something that you.
Yeah, we can do something. Something else, or do like a young bird discussion or something. We can. Yeah, it's. I'm open for it. No problem.
Good, lovely. Well, thank you so much, Maarten, and good luck for tomorrow's fishing.
Okay, you too. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.